Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to go over just really fast an important concept that I think lifters need to understand a little bit better, and that's essentially like why is training with a lower RPE, so like more submaximal instead of going RPE 9 to 10 all the time, better for strength gains from a physiological perspective and a long-term strength development standpoint. So I think the main reason why why submaximal loads, so say you're going less than like RPE. Like in this concept of this conversation, I would say like an 8 RPE or less, 5 to 8 RPE is a little better for strength gains in the long run, and long-term strength development, and development being the key word, is because number one, there's less fatigue associated with it. Fatigue is basically going to be all those things that we don't want from training, so like soreness, neurological fatigue, that sort of thing, basically the negative adaptation we have from training relative to like the actual fitness, which is going to be actual strength development. Most growth, the actual things that we want from training. When we train, we both get fitness and we get fatigue. And so basically we're talking about a stimulus to fatigue ratio. And so with a little bit lower RPEs, you're going to be getting more of that stimulus for strength gain with less fatigue. And the reason why a single at 6 is arguably just as stimulative or very comparable to an RPE 9 or 10 single from a strength development standpoint is because you should still be moving with what is called maximal concentric intent. So what that basically means is that if you're moving a single, 600 pounds, for example, like myself, I'm a 700 pound deadlifter, and if I'm taking a single RPE 6, which is going to be around 600 pounds, I'm still going to be moving as fast as I possibly can with that weight, with maximal concentric intent. So in other words, I'm going to be putting in the exact same amount of force into that 600 pound deadlift as I would be if I was to be maxing out on lifting 700 pounds. So you're still really moving as fast as you possibly can, still recruiting like high postural motor units that are recruited with really heavy weights when you're training with, and more the developmental portions of your block, 5 to 8 RPE, you're still developing strength, and you're going to be able to more so build strength because it's easier to recover from that, and be able to show up and actually get better week after week after week. The main reason why you might go towards a 9 or 9.5 RPE or maybe even a 10 on some lifts is mainly because of a technique standpoint, because it's a completely different skill having to grind through a very difficult rep, and that is ultimately the sport of powerlifting. And so it's good to still practice that, but for the majority of your blocks, you should be focusing on building strength. And really, it's a question of, do you want to build strength or do you want to max out? Because that's really the two options that you have when you're making that choice. So how I basically frame training blocks for my clients is, an average block is going to be around 4 to 5 weeks. So just say for the sake of this example, 4 weeks. So first week is like an introductory week to new rep schemes. I might have maybe some new exercises, whatever. We're trying to build a baseline level of progression. Usually going to be a 5 to 6 RPE on average for most of the exercises. Maybe a 7 on a bench press, but basically weeks, that's going to be your introductory weeks. You're just building a really nice base where you can progress from. Weeks 2 and 3, again, more so of that developmental strength week again. You're still within that, that 6 to 8 RPE range most of the time. With that fourth week, be more so of an expression week where we actually are, more so testing the strength that we have built during that block, and also need to be able to challenge our technique in a way that we haven't been able to do with more of that submaximal training, and really practice our sport a little bit. That's sort of how I like pacing progression throughout blocks. So training, like once you get to the more of the intermediate stage, this is when this stuff really matters. More of the single to fatigue ratios. When you're a beginner, you kind of come into RPE 9, 9.5 every single week, and single, and still be progressing. Whereas when you're more of a intermediate and advanced lifter, especially, you just can't do that. So this is why training more maximally is a little better for strength gains. Another thing is that because you're having a little better fatigue management, you can get a little bit more volume. And volume is going to be more of a driver of stimulus. Now, a volume that you can recover from, more volume that you can recover from, without getting injured or getting some joint issues, like that's arguably going to be better in the long run. So it's better for most people. Now there are like the odd people that might respond really, really well to high intensity and lower volume. So for example, like John Hack is somebody that comes to mind. My friend Christian also, she can go like RP 9 to 9.5 every single week and constantly get better. However, that's not the majority of the response. So like this is one of the things I do with my clients. Like I always start off with like, okay, like how do they do with like, lower intensity on average? How do they respond? How's their fatigue management, et cetera? And I will basically, if they just get better training from like, higher intensity, that might program that in. You only know that after a lot of time and experience working together. So basically, but for most people though, this rule of more submaximal training being better for strength gains will be best. So hopefully this video made sense. If you guys have any questions about what I said, just let me know down in the comments. If you guys are interested in coaching, click the link down below in the description box, and follow me on Instagram. Talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.